You're now listening to CHRISPIRACY.
Chris X Matt.
Question everything.
Break the matrix.
We are the ones.
They fear.
If we don't make the change, it's never going to change.
CHRISPIRACY.
Yo, what's up, family? Grand day. Shout out to all my kings and queens out there. This is another episode of CHRISPIRACY. I am your host, Chris X Matt. And what a lovely day today. It's been an amazing day. Not only the energy behind it, but I have another guest with me today as well. But before I introduce my guest today, I'm actually excited about this episode. I'm like real excited about this episode. And just because there's some things that I still want to learn, there's some things that I still want to ask, and the listeners can enjoy this too as well, but I'm going to enjoy this personally. This is more so for me, and whoever's listening, shout out to you guys, and hopefully you guys take something from this. Hopefully you start applying this certain type of knowledge to your life. Hopefully you hit me up. I'll send you certain Twitters to follow and get into this community, this amazing community that has really changed my perspective on life. It has changed my way of looking at things. It has broken down more how this is really a simulation and that we're all just number energy and that we all have imprinted energy, and the day that you're born, the time that you're born, all plays a part in the grand scheme of this, one collective that we are. But before we get into that, before I introduce my guest, I actually want to talk about Cardi B again real quick, because, man, what a bird, man. Like, for real. So, like, look what the WAP got you. The WAP got you divorced, I guess. Or it might just be promo. I don't fucking know. But I'm tired of these birds telling us or, telling women how to fucking live. And yet, look at them. They ain't happy. They out here miserable. They out here promoting the destruction of the family. They're out here just pushing the agenda. She's talking to Biden, and she's, who the fuck is Cardi B to be in politics, yo? That's all I want to know. Who the fuck is Cardi B to do all this shit? And go back and listen to my Cardi B episode that I talked about her and Candace Owens going at it and all that shit. It's just funny because even Candace Owens like, why the fuck would you stoop down to that level? But whatever, it's all a fucking show. I hope you guys are all enjoying it, because I'm enjoying this shit. It's getting more turnt. We're in the last quarter of the year. It's about to get exciting. September, October, November. My birthday's next month, and yeah, we about to get lit, man. It's about to be 2020 type of end of the year type party that's gonna happen. Will the election happen? Who knows? Who knows if the election will happen? The way it's looking, it doesn't look like it will. Q has also said that Trump is, this is the last presidency, I guess, or the last president. There's not another 4-year election. Who knows? Trump's making peace with the Middle East. Does the one world government come next? I don't know. It's all a fucking show, guys. But since we're on Cardi B, and I'm speaking about Cardi B, and Trump's also from New York, our guest today is actually from New York, so that's pretty fire. He's from Queens, New York, which is dope. I came across this guest of mine about a few months back, like a little bit after COVID has started. I just was on my podcast wave. I was, I had listened to all the Tinfoil Hat podcasts. I had listened to the Conspiracy Guy podcast, the Grimerica podcast. I've listened to all of them, and I was just fiending for more. But once I came across Gary, the numbers guy, and the Tinfoil Hat podcast, that shit changed my life. It changed my perspective. I was just mind fucked, because I didn't even know numerology was a thing. Like, yeah, I know numbers are real and shit, but I didn't know the energy behind numbers. I didn't know that all this shit actually meant something. I didn't know that the elite were using this knowledge. I had no fucking idea. I thought, numbers were just numbers, and we fucking count them, and that is what it is. We all chase numbers, and they always tell us numbers don't lie and all this bullshit. So it makes sense, the importance of numbers now. Now I see it all. I see the bigger picture in it. But when I listened to this podcast, it really just fucked me up. It fucked me up so much to where I started figuring out my life path number. I started looking to see what my Chinese astrology was. I started to look more into being a Scorpio. I started looking into more of the spirituality aspect of all this shit. But I needed more information. There was still more that I needed. There was still more that I wanted. And like I said, I ran through all the podcasts. I ran through all the Gary, the numbers guy interviews. You know, this guy called so many predictions. You know, he's predicted the last 10 NBA finals. Predicted the biggest one where LeBron came back 3-1. This guy, you know, he says something, and then mainstream media 2 weeks later, a week later, report basically the same thing that he tweeted out. He's always calling the shots early. So I was just like, holy fuck, what the fuck is this? This guy, not only does he talk the talk, but he's backing it up. He makes money off this shit. He's using his knowledge to manifest money in the real life. And like he says, if you're an astrologer and numerologist and you can't do that, you're a fraud. But enough of Gary. You know, I did my thing with Gary, and then I was like, I need to know more people from this community. What the fuck is GG33? What is that shit? I don't know. I was just intrigued. It was a hard ass hashtag. I was like, yo, I don't know what the fuck this is, but this is my type of talk. Gary talks my type of talk. He's very blunt. He's very just confident in himself. And again, this shit backs up. He backs himself up. So on this journey of trying to find more students from this community, I go on Apple Podcasts, and I'm just like, yo, I don't know anybody else that's in this shit. I don't know anybody else that has a name like Gary in the community. So let me just type in GG33 on Apple Podcasts. And so I did. And then comes up this, the search brings up a podcast called the Co-Creators Podcast. And I believe the host name is Kian. I'm not quite sure, but his podcast too was like, he's a young dude too. Another master number. I know he's an 11, so it was another master number. So that was dope. And then I liked his perspective, and he was like, he's a young cat, and I was listening to his podcast. And I'm like, oh shit, this guy is onto something. Like he knows what he's talking about. He knows what's up. And I listened to that episode that he had this guest on, and it gave me more insight to numerology. It gave me more insight to the community, to another member's knowledge, and he spoke very highly about the community. He spoke about how it changed his life, how he just started moving different when he came across this information. So today on CHRISPIRACY, I have another fellow Rooster with me, Metal Rooster 8. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing great. I know you just got back into New York. I appreciate you taking the time to even just hop on this little podcast that no one knows about.
That's all right. We're gonna change that, right? It's a good day to change that. It's a 22 day, right?
Exactly. Speak on that.
So 22 is the master builder. So it's a good day and it's an 8 day. I'm an 8 light pass. So we're just gonna rock it out today.
I know you had, when I asked you what day you wanted to do it, your only request was an 8 day. I was like, I bet. I like 22 days. I checked and it just happened to be an 8 days. So I was like, yo, we got to build on this day, bro.
Yeah, I literally just landed like an hour ago and then hopped on this call with you. So, but to go back to Cardi B, what you were saying about why is she so influential, or like, why are they picking her? Well, you can go back to her birthday, right? 10/11/1992. You reduce it down, it adds up to 33. 10, 1 plus 11 plus 1 plus 9 on 9 and 2 equals 33. And she's born on 11 day. So she has influence. That's why.
And she's born the year of the monkey?
Yeah, so she's real smart. She already knows.
And America is a monkey, right?
Exactly. So she's already gonna do good in America.
Bro, no wonder they propped her up the way they propped her up.
I mean, yeah, she has talent, but
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, maybe before, but I don't know now. Like, but it's all about influence. It's all about having that that unmistakable quality. Like, you can't really put your finger on it. Like, what is it about this person? And it usually comes down to their birthday. So
do the elite, or these people that find these artists that obviously shoot them to the top or prop them up to go to the top, do you think that's what they check for? It's like, oh, we have to get her, like, she got the right energy, we can corrupt her. Do you think that's how it works? Or
I don't know how it works. I know that for sure that when you make it to a certain position, you're not going to be put in an influential spot unless they have the goods on you. Like, you're not going to be on TV, you're not going to do on the radio, any of that stuff without them having the blackmail on you.
Facts.
So whatever she did to get to that position, her imprinted energy for sure helped her.
Mm-hmm.
But how she stayed there and how she's going to be propelled further is what she's willing to give up. Blood for blood, you know?
Did you ever see that video of her on her Instagram live? You can probably find it on YouTube, where she breaks down like when it was presented to her, like that offer was presented to her.
No, I never watched that, but I've seen some other videos where she's like bugging out and like telling it, she's basically like just spitting the truth. But like, once you do that, that's when they like really MK Ultra you, and sometimes she looks like that now. Like when she was doing that interview with Biden, she just, I don't know, like they glitch out. Like they just glitch out sometimes.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, Cardi, I feel like it's not a coincidence that they're doing what they're doing, bro. They, especially I feel like they also want to take the power away from the Black Queen, Nicki Minaj, because she was been running hip hop the last 10 years. So it's like let's put a more light skinned girl in there, and
well, look what they did. Look what they did to her brother. I can't say if that's true or not or whatever with Nicki, but they totally messed up her family. I don't know if that's true. I don't know like what they were into, but they
all these people are Trinidadians and all that shit. They into all that, bro.
Yeah.
It's the industry. You feel me? Like it's
bro. The industry. Yeah.
every big industry.
Yeah, you're not making it to the top unless you giving up something. It's just how things ran right now. Maybe they're not going to be ran like that for much longer. Hopefully, I feel like more people are waking up and seeing what this world actually is. Like, it's crazy.
Speaking of crazy, bro, you're in New York and I'm in California. We're in the worst two states, I feel like, in the country.
Yep.
What are your thoughts? What's going on over there right now?
Man, I've really just been like trying to unplug from the news and just all the craziness, because you can get really wrapped up into like every little thing that happens. But I mean, you still have to like keep the pulse on like what's going on. So when you get off the plane, you have to fill out paperwork, and you have to like, they have police there. They have police at the gate when you get off the plane to check if you fill out the paperwork, so that you can they can quarantine you. Now, I had just recently went to Florida, like maybe a few weeks back, right? So I had this screenshot of the paperwork that I previously filled out. So I just like flashed them that little screenshot and was on my way, because last time I actually filled out the paperwork correctly, and I was getting texts and phone calls that I need to quarantine. Did I understand? Did I want to get a hotel room so they could like keep tabs on me? Like, what is going on, man? So
what the fuck?
It was crazy, man. It was wild. So my friend, she didn't put the correct information, and it never even bothered her. So I'm like, bet I'm not doing that no more. And having these fools come to my house or something talking about like, are you quarantining? We're gonna take you away, because that's really like the next step, like wearing a mask. I mean, when do these mandates end? Like what?
Bro, they said 15 days.
It's so wild. It's so wild, man. Like, they call it the new normal.
Yep.
It's just like, man, I'm just want to check out, bro. Like, I'm not with that stuff. Mm-hmm. So
I checked out once I did my shroom trip back in April. June, no, May, yeah, June, I'm sorry. Yeah, bro, I checked out. I was it. I was like, yeah, nah, like all this shit. Because it was funny, because I've already had like a lot of information, like in my, like I already had a lot of information withheld. But then it's like, when I did the trip, it was just like everything just fucking connected. It was just like, pew, 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 pew. And I'm just like, why the fuck am I still on Instagram, bro? This shit gets me in a bad mood every fucking time I get on here. Get off, get off. And that's when I just really switched to Twitter. And then I started coming across like all the GG33 accounts, where I'm like, this is what I'm trying to get into now. Like, I don't care about the political shit, because that ate me too, bro. Like the whole Q shit, I was a heavy Qer. I was very, very heavy Qer. Yeah. And you know what, bro? Like, shout out to Q, because the information, like it woke up a lot of people, dog. But PSYOP maybe, like
maybe.
80%
Yeah,
maybe.
no.
I don't know.
Man, I think, all right, so I found Q literally like a week into it because conspiracies are my thing. So I was on YouTube. I was like, what is this Q? What is this? And I was on the pulse of it from like the beginning. So, and this was before I found Gary or any of that stuff. I was very heavy into political Twitter. 'Cause,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter has niches, so you can get into whatever kind of community you want to get into
Yes.
on Twitter. So I found, and Q is like very patriotic. So you find that they tend to overlap with the political community, conspiracy, political. It's all like tied in together. But at the end of the day, it's all a show. And Q says that many times. He says
Mm-hmm.
like, what do you need to make a good movie? Good actors.
Mm.
So I mean, could it be? It could for sure. But I mean, look at all the people that he's woke up, all the information that was disseminated
Mm-hmm.
over. I don't even know. Let's say I got like 4,700 drops or 4,600 drops or something right now. I even stopped looking at it just because like I just don't want to just I don't know. I'm in a different headspace right now
Yeah, bro.
than I than I maybe was like 3 or 4 months ago. But yeah, man.
You just you
It
get
could be a
over it.
psyop. Might not. I don't know. Like I'm ready. I'm ready to find out. Like I'll sit back with the popcorn and ready to like peep this shit.
100%, bro. 100. But sometimes I just feel like, like they just have to throw that information out there because, now if shit does end up going south, it's like, yo, we gave y'all everything. Like, and y'all still don't give a fuck. All right. We gonna keep doing us.
Well, that's karmic law too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like elites will tell you exactly what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing. That's why they put it right in front of your face in movies and music and all this stuff, and they tell you, oh, it's just entertainment. No, it's not
Nope.
entertainment. They're telling you what they're doing to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they avoid the karmic implications of it.
I keep telling people, bro, like stop watching movies with entertainment purposes and start watching them with a spiritual intent. Like they're gonna hit you way different.
Some people they don't even know what they're looking for. You have to be
Yeah,
versed
that's
in the
true, bro. That's true.
because a lot of these like secret societies, all this stuff is put in a language that you're not even you have to go through so much beforehand to even start digesting the knowledge. It's interesting.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it's gonna be. What do Biden? I mean, I'm not saying who you're voting for, but like, who do you think will take it? Who do you think will take it? You think Trump and
I
landslide?
mean, I don't know what's gonna go down. They just killed off RBG the other day.
Bro.
Like it's really about to
Yo.
pop off.
Yo, I didn't know so much people knew who RGB was, bro. I was like, oh shit, like y'all actually care about this bitch? Like,
I mean,
fuck.
I'm from uh like old school um I voted for Trump. I used to be, I don't even consider myself conservative or liberal. I just like I'm a free thinker. I can rise above everything and see what's being played out. I'm an Aquarius, so propaganda don't hit me like that. Like I can just see through it. So I mean, is Trump the end all and be all, the greatest president ever? I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but is he a puppet for sure?
For
So
sure.
at the end of the day, they all have to answer to somebody. Now, there's different factions of elites. Now, the faction that he's probably with doesn't want to kill us all off. I'm with that. The other one, the Hillary, the Biden, those
Mm-hmm.
people are all
Yep.
Luciferian, wanting to put wanting to put their boot on your throat and watch you kill your kids. I mean, that's just what it is. I hate to put it like that, but I
Bro, I mean,
mean,
they tell us it's
they're
right. It's right
all about
there.
destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
they tell you, they're not lying to you when they tell you these things. So
Just the
it's
psyop, the
crazy,
psyop
man.
just runs so deep, bro. Amongst like the whole earth,
Yeah,
the whole realm. It's just a big ass. Like I'm to that point, bro, where it's like, is our human existence a fucking psyop? Like not the existence itself and the experience, but like everything that we're fucking seeing, it feels like it's a psyop.
it's all programmed. It's all you're programmed from a young age, and everybody's running their programs of their
Mm,
subconscious programs. So you know, everybody. It's how you grow up. It's the this all these fucking social media, all this stuff is like there's like AI computers and really smart people that are behind it to get your dopamine dripping, and you want to get the likes and this and that, and it's the fucking it's a feedback loop, you know. It's so crazy. You're not even controlling your life. You have to stop what you're doing and actively think, because the subconscious programs just take right over, you know. So you're programmed from a young age to, you know, to be a consumer, to go to school, to get a job. Now, if you check out of those programs, you're going against the current, you know. And people don't like that, you know what I'm saying? So people, like, your family start looking at you funny. Well, why are you doing things weird, you know? Like, why, you know? You can see what's going on. That's why.
Like, why you stop eating meat? Y'all be dying when you be tweeting like you're like, bitch, eat a steak, you're malnourished.
Oh, yeah, because they be talking about ascension sickness.
Oh yeah, I seen that. Yeah, I seen that.
There's a lot, like, the love and light spiritual Twitter is really, I'm not gonna say all of them are like sick. Like I said, everybody's running their programs. They believe what they believe. You know, you can't.
Yes.
I'm not gonna get on somebody for believing what they believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's the evil behind that program. Like, these people that think that they're gonna ascend into some, I don't know what the fuck these people are waiting for, but they're saying that, you know, that they get ascension sickness, that they have all these symptoms, and it's like, no, man, you're a vegan, like, eat a steak, like, just, you know, just you're not having ascension symptoms. Like, ground yourself and meditate, and, like, eat some real home cooked food. That's what you're missing.
Shit. Take some ginger shots or something. I don't know. Fuck.
Turmeric. I don't know what's gonna help you, but I'll consider myself, like, I don't like to put labels on anything, because I think that's another way of people, like, making themselves feel more important. Like, I'm an empath, or I'm a light worker, or this or that. Like, man, you're just a regular human being that's tapped into, like, your potential. Like, don't amp yourself up just because, you know, you found a label to label yourself as. So, you know, I consider myself pretty not far down the spiritual journey, but I've never experienced no ascension sickness or anything like that. Like,
ascension sickness just sounds funny as fuck, dog. Ascension sickness.
It's an excuse to feel terrible about your diet. That's what it is.
You know what's funny, bro? Like, I never was into, like, the astrology shit, and, like, I never cared about this stuff. It was just like, you know, I always thought it was just girls, these girls only care about this, blah blah blah.
Right.
Like how Gary says. But then when I believe I forgot who said it, or it was the GG33 community that they were always talking about how, like, stop trusting all these other astrologers and numerologists, like, they're all frauds, or all, I'm pretty sure it was Gary, like, he calls them all out. And but it's true, like, even, like, when, like, I have some friends that they'll send me, like, their astrology shit from, like, their sources and stuff, and I just read it and I'm like, that applies to everybody, like, every single one. Like, how the
trash.
Yeah, like, but then when you see, like, the shit that y'all be putting out, it's like, nah, like, this is more like, it's more detailed. It's just more of it, not just, oh, you know, be happy on this day and everything will come to life or whatever. I don't know, you know, just always some BS.
It'd be like Aries, Scorpio, and Libra. Look out for next week. It's gonna be a great one. Like, what? Like, where are y'all getting this? It's just like clout chasing for astrologers. That's what I see it as. Like,
it's definitely becoming. It's definitely getting into the mainstream, or becoming more popular for sure.
Age of Aquarius, man. This is definitely gonna be a thing. Like, in 50 years, man, people are just gonna go to school for this type of stuff. So
fire, I'm with it though.
Better to get on the ground floor and, like, learn the real stuff. You know, that's why I feel like when I was gonna get on why Gary calls him out, because these people will steal his information and then say that they came up with it, and it's just like, how you going to call the man a fraud, steal his information, and then make money off of it? I've seen this numerous times, and it's messed up. But actually, I didn't. I'm 39. I didn't get started until about 2 or 3 years ago. So, and I always felt.
You being the age as you were and coming across this, were you like, fuck, what have I been missing out on, or was it just like, dope, I'm on this and fuck everything else?
No, I never look at it like like, oh, I missed out on so much because I wouldn't have made it to this point if I wouldn't have gone through all the things that I went through. So I'm happy for the things that I went through because they gave me a new perspective on just this, what it is. And it's really cool that I can see like young people like you and some other people that I talk to, like, 22, 21, they have all this information. I just feel like that's so dope because if I had this information when I was that age, my life would be drastically different. But I don't feel like I missed out on anything. I mean, I look pretty young, so I could just pull off like 28 and just rock that anyway. So
Damn, so yeah, you're 12 years older than me. Since you're a rooster, I'm guessing, right? Yeah, well, you
yeah,
said
yeah,
40,
I'm a rooster.
49, you said, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. So when I found out I was a 33, bro, I was
Yeah.
like, nah.
You knew it, right? You're like, oh, I knew it.
It's not that, bro. It's not that I was like, wait, because I got excited. Obviously, you're like, oh shit, I'm a master number. Like, oh, what the fuck? You start feeling yourself a little bit.
Right.
But then you start thinking about
Right.
I started thinking about how I was when I was younger, and I'm like, it fucking makes sense, bro. Because I've always been the homie that was just putting people onto shit. The homie that was just like, nah, bro, you gotta do this. Like, nah, bro, you gotta do that. Like, like I'm to this day, bro. I'm a walking example, and I don't preach about how I am. I don't preach about none of that. Like, I'm just doing me. But I see my energy transcend to others, and people like pick up on like my habits and what I'm doing, or they're curious about it. Cause what I mean, you don't meet. I mean, I wouldn't, like I said, you said you don't like labels. I don't like labels either. But I am on a plant-based diet. I do that, like, every day, and no dairy, no this. So to a lot of people, it's like, bro, you cap, bro, you cap, bro, you cap, and it's like, all right, I'm cap. Let me do me.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like when they start, like, eventually, oh shit, you really don't eat meat, huh? Oh shit, you really? I'm like, yeah, bro, I told you. And they're like, oh, we just thought you weren't serious. And I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck. Like, keep it pushing. But it just made sense, all that, bro. But then I found out, and I don't know, this is something that I'm curious about. I'm pretty sure they don't have to do it. They don't correlate. But do life path numbers correlate with, or do they have to do something with your parents, or they don't?
Because
my mom is a 33 life path as well.
It's funny because I'll study things, like to see if certain people, and I've noticed that a lot, that people will tweet out like they're a 33 or a master life path, and their parents will be also a master life path. Whether it correlates or not I'm not sure. It could be. It could. For sure. I think that you should ask your mom if she ever dreamt about you before that she gave birth to you, like even before she was pregnant and all that stuff. Because I notice a lot of master numbers or people that are more spiritually inclined they'll know when their kids are coming. So that could definitely be a thing.
It just like I would consider my mom like my best friend too, in a way, and it's just so funny that she, obviously, is your mom. You always have love for your mom. For most people do,
Sure.
But she was born also, the year of the ox, which is
okay,
which is odd,
Also, yeah, so that's your friendly sign too. So
Yeah.
a rooster and ox are good friends. I was gonna say that my mom, I'm an 8. My mom's a double 8. And she's a goat, so that's an 8th sign. So it's like triple 8.
Sheesh.
And my sister's an 11, and I think that maybe it is like that. Like you're just like born in kind of like a what do they call Harry Potter, kind of like you're born into some kind of like spiritual family, like it just. I'm spitballing here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro, and I feel like something tells me that there's something that has to do with 7 LPs and 33 LPs or master number LPs, because I have a lot of friends that are 7 LPs. My dad's a 7 LP, so I'm just like, I mean, they're teachers as well, they're geniuses, high IQ. So I figured like maybe that has to tie in with something. I don't know, I just always I start thinking more about the shit.
A lot of times I'll look back on things that I've avoided or I did, and I won't even know why I did them. And then later to come find out, like, oh shit, like that's really my higher self guided me because I avoided so much. So they might be tapping into something that they're not even aware of. Like I noticed that a lot with Seven Life Pass, for sure. They not be the most like socially adept individuals, but their spiritual game is on point, even if they don't know it. And that's usually. I've given that news to a couple people, like, hey, do you know you're 33? And they kind of like brush their shoulder off, like, oh, I kind of knew, you know what I mean? Like, so it kind of makes sense a little bit too,
Yeah, 100%. 100%, bro. I just so crazy to me, bro. Cause this is why I started believing in the numerology. Cause I just started doing everyone around me and the people and just stuff around me, or even like the astrology shit. This is my second podcast. I have another podcast called the Overly Blunt Podcast, and that's more like blue pill. That's more like just having artists on there. You can kick the shit. We're not really talking conspiracies and all this bullshit. But that one I started 2017 subconsciously, the year of the rooster. Like it was just like what the fuck. I started dropping my episodes on Thursdays, and I come to find out, my mom told me I'm born on Thursday. Yeah, I'm born on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm born on a Thursday too. That's the magic day, the magician's day.
So something in me, bro, just tells me that like I have to start tapping into my like I don't like even saying magic side, but like that side of things because like like Scorpios are well they're psychic type too, right? Like because they're water.
Right.
And then
right.
The rooster, I guess I am a pretty aggressive and pretty just stubborn and like I always I'm hard-headed, I'm like no fuck off like whatever.
Right.
And
so it's aggressive energy.
Yes, definitely. And then the Scorpio too, I feel like I my tongue's always getting me in trouble too. Like someone say something right away, I just attack. Like the Scorpio in me just attacks right away. But I noticed that like I'm born on Thursday too, the day of magic, and then being a 33, and it's like what the fuck, like, and then I'm one energy too, and it's like I don't know, bro. Like I be thinking about it too much.
So I think it's like this, like you're given certain energy when you're born, like you're imprinted with that energy. Now you can either honor that energy by doing what you're naturally inclined to do, like be influential, or roosters are hardworking. So when you're honoring that energy, you're tapping into your higher self and you're just leveling up. You don't even know that you're leveling up, but you're just doing it automatically. And so you're further progress, and that's really what it's all about, man. Just honoring that energy, because the numbers are just like it's like the programming language of the Matrix.
100, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's how it interacts with each other. You don't even know it. It hits your subconscious. It's.
That's why I started believing it, bro. That's why I started believing it. Like my little brother, bro. My youngest brother. He was born the 9th. The 9th, he completed. Like it's just like, yo, how much of a coincidence could all this shit be to where it's like, because I don't believe in coincidences. So I'm like, there's just no way this shit all just fucking just lines up the way it lines up. My sister's an 8 life path, right? She works at a bank.
Exactly.
How my brother's a 4 life path, and he has mild autism, but he's very structured and very very everything organized and very practical, and so I'm just like, yo, that's fucking crazy. Like this shit's real.
It's crazy, yeah. I know. Like I had 2 kids. My daughter, she's a cat, but she's also a 28-1.
Damn, she's an enemy sign.
She's born on the 8th, so like, it's real crazy. And my son, he's a snake, and he's a 3 life path, and this kid can't sit still. Like,
hold on.
He can't.
You had your enemy sign and your soulmate sign.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's hard, bro.
And I did it with blind intention. Like, it just balances out perfectly. I think it's different with family when you have enemy signs, because obviously that's your kid, whatever, kid. But or your whoever, but it all balances out. Like, it has happened perfectly, even with the numbers, and I don't know, just sometimes it just works out to the best that way. I mean, you can always plan, don't get me wrong. If you have kids, I would say, or if you were thinking about having kids, I would definitely say use numerology, get a reading from Gary, and find out when's the best time to have that kid, and even the name and stuff and all that. Like, I remember there was a point where Gary was giving out free names. He like if you DM'd him, he would help you name your kid or whatever for free.
Fire.
So
Yeah, Gary Wild, he said be having C-sections on the days, he picks the date. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of wild, bro. I mean, that's cool, I get
hey
it.
man,
But that's what Elite do, so fuck it.
I would do I would do the same thing, honestly. I would do the same exact thing if I had to. If I like, I want to have more kids out for sure. Big families, what's up?
100%, bro, 100%.
But yeah, I would do the same thing for sure.
I also know that you guys really, or the community, GG33, that you guys also don't really recommend a lot of books, outside books.
Yeah,
100%.
so I have people that will that like there's a couple 33s that I've informed, and then I give them the tinfoil podcast, and they're like fucking blown away, and they're like, oh, you got to put me onto this numerology because I want to learn everything.
Take the
And they
courses.
say, oh, yeah, what books could you recommend? And I would say none, no books, because 2 litmus tests for a book or even any kind of information that's surrounding numerology. One is they'll say 9 is a humanitarian, which you can look at like Stalin and like a lot of dictators
Right.
have had that 9 energy. And then they'll say 2 is a life path number. And 2 of those things are fugazi. So if you can't get those 2 things right, why should I buy your book?
The two is basically what, 11, huh?
Yeah, there's no 2 life path. It's 11. Unless you have 2 energy if you're born on the 2nd, but there's no 2 life path.
Okay.
Can I get into why there's no 2 life path? But there's just no 2 life path. And the other day, yesterday, I met up with a couple GG33 members in Orlando, and we were in a metaphysics shop. We were like looking around tarot decks and stuff, and we came across a numerology section, and we all just looked at each other and just started laughing.
Well, I had a similar experience too, because obviously, like, I'm like, I want to take the courses, but it's like, sheesh, like, you got to kind of prep yourself to take the courses and shit. And so it's like, all right, well, let me see what I could find, and well, I didn't try to look. So it came across my timeline. Someone retweeted something, and it was the book. I don't know if you came across it. It has the ancient god Thoth on it, and it's called like the deities and their numerology, something like that.
No, I've never seen that. It's interesting.
I started reading it. I was like probably like a good chapter in, but when it got to adding up your life path numbers, it was just like nah. Like I stopped reading it. I was like, yeah, this boof. Like all this shit's boof.
Yeah. If you can't even get to the point where you can add up your life path number, so you could add it up. You're adding up each individual number, unless you come across a master number, 11 or 22. Obviously, you're not going to come across 33 in your birthday, but then those numbers don't ever get reduced. So, when is your birthday?
10/28, 1993.
Yeah, so you would add 1 plus 2 plus 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 3 comes up to 33. Yeah, and you're 28 and 1, so you're gonna have that money too.
Bro, I mean, I have, yeah. I mean, I'm not the, yeah. I got money. I got a little bit. I've never been broke.
You're still young.
But wealth, as far as like having, bro, to this day, like my parents left me a crib when they moved to like South Carolina. So like to this day,
that's the luck of the 28.
Exactly, bro.
They don't even have to be like, you just be around a 28, and you're gonna like, you could win the lottery. You take a 28 with you to the casino,
Sheesh.
I can't wait for my daughter to like grow up and I take her to the casino. I'm just joking.
She's born at 28.
She's a 28 and 1 overall.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So going back to the book, so after I seen that the way they added up the life path shit, I was just like, yeah, nah, I'm not reading this no more, because I knew how you guys say to add the life path numbers. So I'm just like, yeah, this is whack. I'm off this.
Yeah.
The other day though, I was at a thrift shop, and I mean, I have my little book collection. I have a couple books, but I recently just put up a bookshelf, and I was trying to buy like shit to decorate it with and just put on the shelf for my video aspect of, when I start doing video. And I hit the book section, and I'm just walking through there, and the first book that catches my eye is like a vegetarian book, like a recipe book. I'm like, oh shit! I started looking through it just to get more recipes, and then as I'm reading that, I look up, and all like a bunch of magic books are there. So a tarot book, like a
Really?
bunch of tarot books, the Aleister Crowley Magic Without Tears book, witchcraft book, the witch's spell, like bro, like they're all $3.50, like the $3.50. So I pick up the tarot one, and I'm not really into tarot. I haven't like done my full digging into it. I don't have interest in like even reading tarot or anything like that. But I just picked up the book because I was like, cool, I want to know about the cards because I know the cards all mean something and they all have their symbology and all that shit. Bro, but this book, it's called A Complete Guide to the Tarot by Eden Gray, has a lot of the shit that you guys be talking about. And I was like, holy fuck. I'm like, because it has even numbers that you guys haven't, the information that you guys haven't even given out. But hey, man, they got the 13 energy, the 14 energy, the 12 energy, bro, and it's pretty spot on. It's pretty spot on. Like number one represents.
What is it called?
It's called.
What is it called? Complete Tarot by.
A Complete Guide to the Tarot by Eden Gray. And look, I'm just gonna read number one. Like number one represents the principle of unity that underlies all numbers. It is the first manifestation of the unmanifest. It is the active principle that, broken into fragments, gives rises to multiplicity. By multiplication, it creates all others, but multiplied by itself to infinity, it always retains its unity. Number one is equated with the one God, the oneness of mankind, the power of selfhood, of self-reliance, dignity, rulership. It is the wand of the magician, the power placed in man's hand to accomplish through will. Therefore, we can easily see how number one relates to Tarot Key 1, the magician.
Yeah, that ties into the magician. That's really interesting.
Bro, I mean, the only one that I wasn't feeling was number 7 because they're saying 7 is the completion.
But 7 is the completion. Was they talking about the chariot on that one?
Yes. It says 7 is the number of perfection, the most sacred of all numbers. The Egyptians considered it the symbol of life eternal. The number 7 is composed of the triad and the tetrad, or God and nature combined in man. The importance and the favorable aspects of number 7 have been handed down from the days of the Chaldeans in the game of dice, the opposite sides of which always add up to 7. Both the Old and New Testaments are filled with references to 7, particularly in the book of Revelation, which use 7 to show completion, 7 vials of the 7 last plagues, 7 trumpet calls, 7 angels, 7 kings, and the beast with 7 heads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 7, and they also had like the 7 original planets. So those were like the original gods, and you can see it in Game of Thrones too. Like they'll talk about the old gods. Those are the 7 original gods. That's real interesting though.
Nah, this one, bro. I was like, okay, because 9 that did say is like is the number of initiation and like I mean, how do you say it? Like new beginnings and shit.
Yeah, it's like it's the last stage before completion, like in tarot, because 10 would be actual like the end, like once you get, like if you look at the 10 of swords, it's the guy laying on his back or laying on his stomach with 10 swords. That's the real death card. But 9 is usually like that last moment before you can kind of make any kind of tweaks or changes to basically something that's already done. So that's interesting. I'm gonna order that book, by the way.
Bro,
I don't really order too many books, but I'm gonna order that.
I got this for $3.50, bro.
That's a find right there.
Bro, it ties in the Scorpio with the tarot, the tarot with the Kabbalah, the tarot with the all this shit. There's a whole chapter on the tarot numerology. And
how many pages is that?
It's 150.
Okay, not bad.
And I seen Wendy, one lucky girl. She tweeted out about that. 12 is the number of balance, but I also seen Gary says that 13 is the number of the matrix, and he breaks that down the way he breaks it down. And then Wendy said 12 is the number of the number of perfect balance, something like that. And I seen someone had comment back on her. They wrote her back on Twitter and was like, "You mean 13?" And they broke down how Gary said it. But then I was like, and I was looking like, yeah, I thought it was 13 that was a number, because I'm assuming 12 doesn't have a meaning. 14, 15, 16, they don't all have. And I'm thinking you just reduce those,
No, actually, like, okay, so when you add up your life path, right? You could be a 17, you could be a 26, you could be a 35, you could be a 44. Now, they all do reduce to 8, but each one of those numbers are different. Like they vibrate differently. How they vibrate differently, like really can't say, but
Mm-hmm.
each number is has its own vibration and how it interacts with the matrix. So like me, I'm a 26. So um
So that number itself does vibrate a certain way.
definitely. But it's you
Okay.
still would reduce it, but it's still like even when you're like the day you're born, like a 5 day, or like you're born on a 28 day. I'm born on a 5 day. So you're definitely imprinted with that energy as well.
Mm.
And I can see it. Like I love to travel. I don't know. I've haven't traveled as much as I've like this year than I've in my life. So and I just definitely I love it.
Yeah, man. So this is a pretty interesting book. I'm actually reading it. I'm not done with it, but I was very intrigued and I'm just interested in the
If you
cards.
if you ever like really wanted to get into tarot, like the guy Number Energy Ronaldo from
Mm-hmm.
South Africa, that's the class that I took. I started in that podcast that I did in what is that, March or April,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
was literally I probably took one class, like it was really one class into it. So from 5 months studying, to what he's teaching us, not knowing anything about tarot, not being super nervous and not doing readings or anything like that, not doing anything with tarot. I've never even touched this tarot deck before that,
Mm-hmm.
and to being able to do like in the last 4 weeks, I did like 100 readings, and I was kind of not forced into it, but it was like the matrix going to test you, like it's going to make you uncomfortable, and you either step up and do the thing that makes you uncomfortable and then watch yourself level up or watch new opportunities unfold, or you can be like, nah, I'm scared, I don't want to do it,
Bro.
and then matrix gonna punish you for that too, because you're not honoring that energy that you were given. You're shitting on it. So I didn't necessarily think that I would be really really good or whatever, but it was like something switched. It's like being I don't know if you heard like athletes being in the flow state, or you just don't even have to think about it. It's just like I shuffle the cards, I look at them, and then I just start typing. And I don't know. I don't know how I do it sometimes. I've had people tell me some crazy wild stories like, how did you know this? And I have screenshots of them all. I think it's great. Like I really, it's like I equate it to therapy sometimes, because when I work through their problems, I'm working through my own problems too. But people don't even know it. But like, it's a symbiotic relationship, and it's great. I love it.
And we actually connected like that too.
Exactly.
You just
Yeah.
tweeted, who wants a tarot reading? You had a free spot before you started charging. You were just tip based, and I'm like, and to be honest, like I seen you even tweet that a couple of times, and I would always just avoid it just because there's just I don't know if you listen to the Sam Tripoli and the tinfoil, but you know how he always says like, and I believe that too. Like when you start tapping into this shit, you're opening up certain doors. You're opening up certain things to be able to come in and all that shit. So I've always been the type of person that was like, man, white magic, black magic, like leave me out that shit. I don't want nothing to do with no magic. But now
But
I'm
you're
get
already doing magic and you're
exactly,
speaking
bro.
spells. Like you're doing it right now.
I
So how
know.
this is how I look at it, dude.
I
So
know.
it's all tools in a tool shed. You know,
Uh huh.
it's your intent behind them. How you use it. Are you gonna use it to like hurt people and hex people and try to get ahead in a way that where you're stepping on people's throats and stuff? No, of course not. But you also have to be really well grounded and take it slow. Like I always kind of knew that I would get into this in my life. I didn't know how or why, but I just always had a feeling that this was a calling for me. But I didn't want to be taken advantage of, because a lot of people they get caught up, and they get all kind of entities attached to them, and it's just terrible things, and they ruin their lives. Not only ruin their lives, they ruin the people like the
Mm.
lives around them. So I have to be super careful too, because I have kids,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I don't want, I've taken care of a lot of karma and in past generations, this like my karma, all that stuff, my parents, all that shit. Like this was my opportunity to like wrap all that up and take care of it. And so I don't want to like do something that would, hinder my children when they grow up. So I'm like super careful about what I do. But yeah, you have to be well grounded. know that you're a sovereign being and nothing can come of harm of you because you're of sound mind, and that's just not going to happen. Now, I can't speak for anybody else, but that's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not. I remember. Well, can we go? Can we? I have a picture. I pulled up a picture of my the read that you gave me. You mind like breaking it down a
Okay.
little bit?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah,
Let me just go back to it.
oh,
Go back
you
to it
have
real
it, you have
quick.
it too. I have it pulled up right here.
I have it.
Okay. So for the listeners, he pulled 3 cards on me. It was a remote reading. He did it from New York. I'm over here in California. I allowed him to do the reading, and he pulled the 2 of Swords, the 8 of Pentacles, and Strength. What
Yes.
do these mean, bro?
Um.
I haven't got
So
to
the
them.
two, so the 2 of Swords is sort of like all twos in numerology or tarot are usually about choices, right? Like, and swords are represent the mind. They represent air in tarot. So, and you can see that she's blindfolded.
Mhm.
The water behind her is what is it? I think it's calm. It's not very choppy. So it's a choice. It's of the mind, and she's sitting there, and she's like trying to figure something out, like, but it's not that serious. Like, she just has to figure it out, and that's why the swords are going off in different directions, and it's covering her heart because it's not a decision of the heart. It's, you have to use logic. You have to take your take your feelings out of it. And they all tie in together. So what are you like hemming and hawing about? Like, what are you trying to think about? So and then you're looking at the eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles, a guy sitting there, he's doing his hard work. Like, so I took it as, let me look up your reading real quick. I just want to make sure that I get it right. Um,
And how do you decide how many cards to draw? I know some people draw more than 3. Like, how do you decide?
so I'm fairly new at this, and I just decided I was just gonna do 3 cards, usually like past, present, and future.
Mm.
You can do like any amount of cards. I've done a couple 5-card readings, um, but you have to like assign what they are before you do the reading. Like I said, I'm still fairly new. I've only been doing this for 4 or 5 months, and um, I don't know. It's interesting. I usually have a like a routine. Like, I'll sit down and shuffle the cards, pull the cards, and I'll go off and do something else. I kind of think about them for a little bit, and then like I'll just pick up my phone and start typing it out. But I
Mm.
also do it in a different way too, like where I put music to it. Like, I'll try to figure out what that kind of person likes and put music to the reading, so it's a little bit different.
Word, word, word. Still pulling
Yeah.
it.
So
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, no, I got it. So the Eight of Pentacles, in relation to like what you're going through, I felt like you're starting something. Like, starting something can be scary. And the Eight of Pentacles, um like, you're fully immersed in that work. Like, you're not like you can see the guy, like, he's just totally like toiling away
Yeah.
at that. Like, that's what he's all about. And so that leads you to the Strength card. Like, if you have interesting cards, like, I just like 2 8s together, and the Strength is all about taming the beast, but it's not something like a beast that's outside of you. It's your inner beast. It's the thing that says, "Oh, I can't do this," or you
Mhm.
know, it's not something that can be overpowered. Like, she can't. It's a lady. She's not gonna overpower that lion, but she tames it um by being strong. Like, H is all about strength.
And that's why it's the number of money, power, and karma.
Exactly. And you can even see like even the magician. The magician has a infinity symbol above his head,
Mm-hmm.
and the 8 has an infinity symbol above her head. What's interesting about the magician too is that it's the first card in the major arcana. Well, the second, if you count the fool is the first card.
Yeah.
But that's the card that the fool. That's the person that the fool runs into first, and you can see on his table. You know, he has all the things that he needs to manifest in this life. You know, he has the wands, the pentacles, the cups, and the swords.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing outside of yourself that's gonna make you whole. You know, everything is within inside you. You have everything that you were ever given to make it. So I always see people like, oh, I'm gonna wait for this, or I need to do that in order to do something else. And it's like they're always trying to go to some there. You know, it's off some far off place that when they get there, they'll finally be happy or whatever. And that's not really what it's about. Like it's about the journey to the there, because once you get there, another there is going to appear. So people are always waiting for something to happen, and it's like you have everything you need right inside of you. There's nothing outside of yourself that you'll ever need. Also, that I came to that realization too when I did a mushroom trip, maybe like a few months back. I was like very lost, and I don't know. I was always like feeling that way, like, oh, once something happens, like I'll be happy, or if I get this, I'll be happy. And it's like, nah, it's not about like getting something or going somewhere, or doing something. It's about the journey to that place and enjoying it.
Yes.
You're not enjoying it. You know, it's just about being present in the moment of
It's flowing.
of the process. Yeah, flowing. Yeah.
It's just flowing, bro. I remember when you gave me that reading and when I read the 8, what you said about the 8, the card of strength or whatever, and you were talking, you said about like you have everything within you, and remember I told you that I had just gone through something that I got spiritually scared about.
Right. I was gonna ask. I was reading through that earlier. I was gonna ask you what that was, if you wanted to talk about it.
I do actually. I haven't shared it on the podcast. I did actually a whole episode on it. I spoke around what happened. I didn't say names or really say what happened specifically, but I spoke like basically what happened. And it's crazy because this happened to me on the 33rd week of the year, and back in August, and it was damn. I'm gonna just say it because I know they probably listen to this shit, but whatever. It was I guess an exorcist happened in my house, bro.
Really?
And I know when you say like an exorcism, like I know some people might say like, oh, like what the fuck, like someone like, you know, like they picture the movie type shit, and it wasn't that necessarily. It was more so I saw someone be possessed in my house. I saw their demon come out, and like, you know, they were like eyes rolling back, and
really,
yes, and it was crazy the way it happened because the month of August itself was just it was a wild month because
I would agree, sir.
I was in, I don't know if you ever heard of Mount Shasta out here in California.
Yeah, I definitely want to go visit there.
I had gone to Mount Shasta, bro. They say how Mount Shasta is a portal, you know, it's a vortex and all this shit. Every Friday, I would do feeding cleans. So I had I had a homegirl that would be like, yo, me and the homies, you know, we're starting every Friday. We're gonna start cleaning down the river bottom, and you know, feeding the people. I'm like, you down to do it?
Okay.
I'm like, word, I'm with that. Let's do it. So every Friday I would do it, and then eventually there's one Friday, you know, the main guy that obviously runs it's his thing. He was like, yo, let's go. You guys down to go to Shasta? And it was like very last minute. We're out eating after we do the cleanup and shit. We go out and eat. So we're eating, and they were like, I was like, nah, you know, it's last minute. But I happened to have that weekend off, so I was kind of like, fuck it, you know, I'm off of work. Let's go. I'm down. And I I had just started CHRISPIRACY. I dropped CHRISPIRACY on July 22nd, so 2233, day. I dropped on purpose that day, and so then that following, like, so 3 days later we go to Chasta, and we get there like at 7 in the morning, whatever. As soon as I get there, pop some shrooms. We go into the forest. We're just chilling and shit like that. And the trip ends up being dope. And during that trip, my homegirl, she started tripping, just like, she's very lightweight, so she started just tripping crazy. And then some family ended up helping her, and this family, like, they ended up coming and living with me. And it was a mom with her 4 children. The oldest was like 11, and she had 4 kids with her. And I was just like, wow. And I really clicked with the kids. Like, I just really connected with them. But the mom herself, she when she introduced herself to us, she was like, I'm Una, and I work with the fairies. And I was just like, oh shit, like, this is my type of talk.
Oh, okay.
I just like, well, I mean, just like, okay, cool, whatever, like. But she was just very nice, very lovely. She had helped my homegirl because she ended up stumbling onto their campground and shit from when she was tripping. So, and I'm over here like thinking, like, cause I had separated myself, and when I came back, I saw her with her, but I'm like, oh, she's doing yoga with somebody, that's dope. Comes to find out, like, she's just guiding her while her eyes were closed. She was just guiding her. I was just like, oh,
wow.
Thank you for for helping her out, whatever,
Right.
She had her own little camping spot. It turns out she was living in the mountain. She was living there for the last month because she had left her husband and she was going through all this crazy shit. So she was just in Chasta chilling. I ended up clicking with her kids like a lot. Like, her kids just really like started fucking with me, and I liked her, and I came back. I don't know if you ever heard of like the Kangen water shit. I had Kangen water on me, so I went and I gave her, like, blessed her with some water. I had like a whole jar of like key lime ginger with me. I went and gave her that, and just like the look on her face, she was like, oh, like, yes, like, I'm needing this, whatever. It turns out, like, we felt so sorry for her that me, my other homie that had gone on the trip, and then my homegirl, it was three of us that got on this trip to Chasta, bro. All 3 of us are master numbers. It was 2 33s and an 11.
Nice.
Yeah, and the lady, she says that she had a dream about that she was gonna meet a woman in August, and she ended up meeting my homegirl was the reason why we met her, because she helped her out.
Right.
So
right.
And then when we started talking to more of her, she was just like, it's crazy because I kept asking the universe and the fairies and all that stuff to bring me, like, that she wanted teachers for her kids, not necessarily dads or anything like that, but just like teachers. So when she ended up finding out that me and my other homie were 33s, she was just like, oh shit, like what are the odds?
She already knew about numerology
to an extent, not too much, but
okay.
Because of me, like, and just telling her, like, so bro, like, it's not a coincidence that, eventually she ended up we ended up just talking to her, and we just felt super, super sorry for her. But we ended up coming back home, and then the next day, the hill catches on fire. The Chasta catches on fire.
Oh, wow.
She calls my homie, and she tells him, well, it's not my homie no more, but she calls the dude that we go with, and she was like, oh, it's getting smoky up here. We're packing up to leave, and da-da-da. And he was just like, yo, just come down here. I got you. I'll get you an Airbnb. Like, if you have that option, if you have nowhere to go, you can come down here, and I got you. And I guess she took him up on the offer. She ended up coming down to Southern California. This is her first time really, like, in Southern California. The first time she was in California was when she went to Chasta. Eventually, the homie asked me, hey, bro, is it cool? Because I have my own place. He's like, is it cool if if I rent out your place and they can live there with you and just for like a couple months, whatever, till she figures it out, because she was waiting on life insurance money from her son that had passed away. So she was gonna get a check and she was gonna be good. So I was just like, and I had thought about it for a minute because I was just like, I like my own space and I like doing my own thing. So I don't like having kids around, and it's too much of everything. It's like I still need to be able to detach and get out of here and then be able to come back.
Of course.
So, boom, she ends up coming. She moves in. The homie talks to my dad. They end up doing a lease and shit like that. Boom, she ends up coming in here. She stays here. She was in here for the whole month of August. She left. It's the beginning of September she left. The day that she even moved in, bro, was a 6th day. I was just like, oh shit. And it wasn't planned or anything. She just moved in on a 6th day. She left on a 9.
Happened like that.
She left on a 9 day as well. Yeah, just weird.
Wow.
And, but she's a very spiritual person as well. She reads the oracle cards. She does do tarot. She pulls cards every morning. She'll meditate every morning.
Okay.
She's very spiritual. And always barefoot. You know, her kids are very just like her too. They're very always barefoot. They don't eat. She has them eating clean for the most part. They're just very like vegan ass babies. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
she don't let them watch Disney movies. She don't let them watch none of that corruption shit. Like nothing.
Oh,
Like
nice.
yeah, she keeps them away from all that shit. And so that's why I gravitated towards them. I'm like, yo, like I would tell them like, yo, your mom is guiding y'all the right way. Like you guys need to pay attention and tap in because she got your best interest. And you know they're young. They don't give a fuck. So they ended up moving in, bro. And then like a week passes by or whatever. And that homie that you know that we had talked it out for them to stay here. He came over one day and he was chilling here or whatever. And then the lady Una, she does birth chart reading too, because she does. I don't know if you ever heard of quantum astrology.
No.
So she does readings based off quantum astrology. So and I'm pretty sure that's kind of basically
Interesting.
I think it's kind of like what Wendy does, because she sounds like a lot of the shit that she talks about the planets is how like Wendy be tweeting about planets coming into conjunction and all this shit.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, I know what you're talking about then. Yeah, I didn't know that's what they called it though. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know either. But she's able to like tell you what starseed family you come from. Eventually, with like so many hours of looking into your birth chart, she'll be able to pinpoint like where you come from and all this shit.
Interesting.
So the homegirl that it was, like I said earlier, it was me, the homie, and the homegirl that went to this trip. So the homegirl was over here as well. All three of us were chilling. She was gonna get her birth chart read from the lady, and last minute she told her, you know what, do his instead. Like just read his, because I already kind of got like a little glimpse of mine, so just do his. So then she's like, all right, cool, So homie was like, all right, cool, yeah, I'm down to do it. So she takes him to the living room and shit. They sit down. She sits him down and everything like that. And he had a cut on his arm, on his hand, and on the cut on the hand, she tells him, I guess she looks at it and she tells him like, I guess she was telling him like, why you have that cut, and like basically telling him like you need to heal from something. I didn't quite hear what she told him, but it was like she was getting kind of serious, I felt like. And then she got up to go to get her crystals and stuff like that, and then she came back and she pulled cards. She pulled two of them it was two of them. One was the card of conflict, and one was the one that has like a lion has a fairy, and then like a lion purging. I don't know what it's called. And
are they oracle cards?
Yeah, they were oracle cards. Yeah, they weren't tarot.
Oh, okay.
They were oracle
there's
cards.
like a ton. There's a ton of different oracle.
Yeah, you're
cards
right. You're
out
right.
there.
They were oracle cards. So then she pulls the cards out for him, whatever, and like he's reading them and stuff like that, and he asked her, is it okay if I let it out? And we thought he meant like just cry and shit, whatever. And he looks at me and my homegirl and he goes, I just want to tell you guys, that I love you and everything's gonna be all right. And then he just turns back around, bro, and he just starts, eyes rolling back, and he starts like, bro, yeah. And I look at my home, because I was sitting behind him. I didn't see the front of his face. I was sitting behind him. I'm like, what the fuck going on? And bro, like this is the first time I've ever experienced anything like this. I was just like, what the fuck? And I got shook up, dog. I got so shook up that I got up and I went in my room for a little bit, and my homegirl walked in there with me, and she's like, you good? And I'm like, what the fuck going on in here? And then she's like, I don't know, Chris. I don't know. Like, this is crazy. He's being possessed. And I'm like, what the fuck? And right away, I just snap out of it, and I'm like, I'm gonna go check up on the kids. So the kids were in the room, and they had all got out their rooms and then went into the mom's room, and they were just in the mom, because her mom, she has the crystals in her room and all. It's just a nice vibe. It's a nice vibe in there. So they felt more safe in there. So I go over there and I'm like, yo, you guys are good? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, you guys are not scared? They're like, no, mom does this all the time. I'm like, what do you mean she does this all the time? And she's like, no, hold on. Yeah, I got scared too. I'm like, what do you mean she does this all the time? And she's like, yeah, she's just cleansing. And I'm like, nah, like it's way more shit going on out there than just cleansing. But dog, like, so when that happened, I guess her and my homegirl started like fighting it off. Not fighting it off like that, but she started bringing the stuff around him and like telling him to get out and all that shit. And he was like coming in and out of consciousness, I guess, until she kicked him out to the backyard. And eventually he left through the side gate and shit like that. And bro, I just felt like,
was she trying to bring that spirit out of him?
No, That's why I even told her, because as soon as that shit happened, and she wanted to go check up on her kids as well, but I was already in there, and when she opened the door, I was just like, I'm like, Una, I need to know right now if I can trust you.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to know if I can trust you. I'm like, because if you attracting these type of people, I'm like, I need you out like ASAP.
Right.
And she was crying. She's like, Chris, like, no, like, cause she was even like, I'm not well versed in none of this shit. Like, I'm not trying to practice the dark arts like this, like, at all. Like, this is not me. Like, I got kids that I still have to worry about.
Right.
Like, I would not do this here in this house, Chris. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, you're right. And everything that she would do, bro, like something like, yeah, I got scared and I started questioning her. But then, like, her action just told me, like, nah, like, she's good. She's a good person. Like, her actions tell me otherwise, and I'm gonna just go with my heart. I'm gonna go with my intuition. My intuition is telling me to trust her. So when I finally, like, came to that conclusion, I was just like, you know what, Una, like, I'm gonna go with what my heart tells me, and my heart is telling me to rock with you and go with you. So whatever happens after this point, it's my fault. It's gonna be on me because I'm allowing you to be here now. And then she was just like, oh, thank you. And she was just like, we started talking about that shit, but that scared her so much too, where she also wanted to leave. She right away, she was just like, I need to get out of here too. Like, she felt like, it kind of felt, bro, like we were meant to meet each other in Shasta, so we can both help each other out and save each other from this. Because I feel like I was getting really involved with Homeboy too, and I feel like if I would have kept, he was so good at hiding that shit, bro. He was so good at, like, cause bro. Like, I'm gonna tell you more shit after we stop recording, but it's just like he's doing shit that I'm just like, yo, like,
yeah, because,
nah, bro.
She peeped what was on his hand right away, and she knew. So yeah, that was definitely an indication. That's definitely an indication for me. Like, homie was definitely into
false prophet, bro, doing ceremonies and shit.
Yeah. Oh, was he like a magic buddy? Like somebody?
No. I mean, he was a spiritual buddy, but I never, like, practiced magic with him. I never practiced, like, nothing crazy with him. Like, I was putting him on. I told him he was a 33 life path, and it was crazy because when I realized he was a 33, bro, was when we were in Chata, and I was just like, what the fuck? We're all master numbers on this trip, and I just started like, yo, we're meant to be here. Like, it was supposed to be us, and we're supposed to meet this family. You're thinking it's supposed to be like that. And then comes to turn out, it's like, no, I was supposed to meet her because, first of all, she needed me, because if I wasn't in the picture, he would have had her in a house separately, bro. I think he was just trying to feed off the energy or some bullshit,
Oh, wow.
Bro, I gotta, like, I'm saying way too much, because if homie's listening to this, like, I'm gonna get off.
Nah, you're good.
Nah, I just playing, like, but it was just like, so when she told me, she's like, Chris, the only reason that I even agreed to stay was because I found out I was gonna stay with you, and that's why I was like, cool, like, I trusted you from the beginning, and the kids always liked you. And I'm like, how come you never warned me about Steven though? Like, I even said his name. How come you never warned me about, the homie though? Like, if you felt something. And she's like, well, because I thought y'all were good friends, and I wasn't trying to ruin a friendship. And I was like, I've only known this fool for 3 months. Like, he's not a homie like that. And she was just like, oh, yeah. Like, I was like, man, you should have definitely said some shit, like, because it made, I'll tell you more off air, bro, because we doing a lot of fishy shit that I was, like, ignoring my intuition, because I was on this spiritual journey now where, I did my mushroom trip, and it's like, oh, trust everybody and love and this. And it was my homie.
Don't trust everybody.
It was my homie, my other homie, Manny. Shout out to my boy Manny. He's an 11 energy as well. He told me, he's like, bro, like, he's like, bro, when the fuck would you have ever allowed this before, bro? He's like, yo, ego, like, you being the way you are, bro, has actually protected you a lot from these type of people. And it kind of just made me, like, start thinking, like, maybe, bro, because, bro, I'm cool off being friends with anybody. I don't mind being by myself. I don't mind doing shit by myself. I don't care. I don't need anybody to do anything with me. I don't need friends like that. Since I was little, bro, always sit in the back of the classroom. Mom was always telling me, go make friends. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I've always,
me, dog.
I've always been like that.
The same way.
So that shit just really scared me, bro. So when you gave me that card, I was just like, bro, I started sleeping with my light on. I couldn't sleep in the dark anymore. I said this shit was eating me alive, because I was just, like, shook, and I was like, nah, I can't let this do this shit to me. Like, fuck out of here. Like, I know I'm powerful. I'm a powerful being. Like, I need to snap out this shit. And look, now I'm like, I've coped with it. I've processed it. I'm like, nah, fuck that. That's that. But I think I needed that also to tap into this new side too, where it's like, all right, because if I would have been more prepped, bro, with magic or any of those others these tools, if I would have been more prepped, I wouldn't have gotten scared. I wouldn't have
Well,
felt.
I
I wouldn't have
mean,
felt away.
I don't know how prepped you can be to be like, have that, like, to encounter something like that into your face. Like, unless you're with somebody that kind of deals with that kind of stuff and they can kind of like know what to do. Like, I would be freaked out too. I mean, like I said, I only got into this a few years back, so
Yeah, bro.
for
I
you to
should.
see something like that, like especially like so close and like so near your journey that you just really started, of course you're gonna get scared like that. That would freak me out. But he probably peeped it too. Like he probably read something about you. Like he had to like be friends with you. Like that whole thing is just
Hundred
so,
percent, bro. Like I said,
like
I'm a
non-coincidental. Like it couldn't have happened like any other way. Like it's so wild.
like I'm gonna tell you some. Like once we get off, once we're done recording, I'm gonna tell you some more shit too. Where I was just like, the signs were all there, bro, and it was just me like, nah, it's cool. Like he good peoples, but it's like, yo, I didn't even know this person like this, you know, like.
Yeah.
But
Wow, that's a wild story, man. That is really,
and it's always
yeah,
in.
it would have me shook too.
It was all in August, bro, and it was the 33rd week of the year, and it's like, I don't know, man. It's maybe I don't know.
Hey, man, but it's a lesson though. What happened with Una?
100%.
Like what happened with Una?
Okay. So then, that shit shook us up. It shook all of us up. Even, I mean, not the kids. It's more like just her and me. It shook us up. And
Mm-hmm.
that same day, we went out the next day. Cause bro, this happened like around 10:30 at night. I had just woken up from like a nap, and I go to work like at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. So
Okay.
I was up, bro. I literally did all this shit happen, bro, and I went straight to work after it happened. So I'm at work. I'm a stalker, and I'm stalking at work. I'm like tripping in my head, like, what the fuck just happened? And I called my mom's. I called my mom's up as soon as I got to work, and I was like, Mom, we're not taking no more money from this guy at all. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you feel. I'm not taking his money. And then she's like, why? What happened? I told her what happened. I'm like, I just do not want any type of energy exchange from this person at all. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good.
for
Like,
sure.
I'm not touching. Like, I blocked him off everything. I just canceled him. I told him straight up, like, we no longer have a connection, bro, and that's it. Like, I blocked him. I gave him back all his stuff. I was like, boom, like, you do you. I'm over here. Like, we no longer communicate, dog. And I even told my homegirl too. I'm like, if you're gonna keep talking to him, let me know, cause I'm gonna cut you off too.
Yeah, I bet.
And she
Yeah,
ended up
'cause
rocking with me.
wild. It's so wild because like he was peeping her, like he wanted to like take care of her, like he definitely was peeping like to use her, And that's what I'm saying. Like you have to be careful because people can pick up on these things and they're gonna use you. So like it's good to have that intuition on point because you can be taken advantage of.
And then since we are in the
So
age of
anyway, continue.
Aquarius, there's gonna be more of these people,
Oh
right?
yeah. Nah, like one time I was with another GG and we were at a metaphysics shop and this guy he just rolled up on us and he just was just talking to us and it was very like vampiric. He just wanted to know like everything and I really didn't peep it right away and then she told me afterwards and was like, yo, this guy was like a vampire and he was just trying to steal energy and I was like, oh wow, like it's so crazy.
Yeah, bro, that shit was crazy. But now, like, I'm at a point now where just like, man, fuck that. That shit don't faze me no more. Like, I don't get scared no more. Like, everything's back. I'm back to feeling like myself. I'm back to vibrating high and shit. That shit did dim me. It dimmed my light for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, it was a lesson, dog. I think that was a good lesson to learn. Like you didn't get too close where you had taken advantage of, but you close enough where you could feel it.
Bro, if I would have even been cool with this fool, like, if I would have stayed cool with him for like the next few months, bro, like this shit could have gone sour. Like, and all the signs are there where I'm like now tying it in, where it's like I avoided my intuition and I never fucking do that. But because I'm on this, love and we should help people out and shit like that. And I mean, we should. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but now I'm like,
Right,
I
of
have to
course.
take a step back and just be extra careful, bro. That shit.
Yeah, to be extra careful, man. Vet these people, man, because not everybody's about that love and light, And the ones that are, that's great, and you can help those people, but not everybody's like that, man. There's definitely people out here looking to take advantage of good spirited people, They want to take your energy, bro.
So that's the next day after all this shit happened. We went to the beach, to cleanse, and we just jumped in the water and shit like that, and
Uh-huh.
and then yeah, you know, so I was just processing everything after that shit, and I kind of like I pushed away my other homegirl, the one that went with us on a trip too, because I just felt like I just want my space, and I didn't have my space at the time because you know I would come home from work, people, you know, the family was living here, Una was here, the kids were here, so I didn't have nowhere to really go where I was able to like you know process shit the way I'm used to processing, you know, my own way. Because
Yeah.
I don't have any quiet space anymore. I don't have any alone time. I don't have any it's just the house is always noisy. The house, everything's always in and out the door, in and out the door. Everyone's always doing some shit. And
Yeah.
I wasn't used to that. I've been living by myself for the last 4 years.
Yeah, go from like one person to five people, and not just five people, but four kids is like it's too much. It's too much.
It's too much, bro. But it was dope, like coming home and like, oh, Chris, you know, and they get all excited, you know. That was just,
Right.
like it was dope. Like it was super dope. And those kids taught me a lot too. But it was just like, nah, like I want y'all to stay here where I'm at, like in the city, but like I need you guys to get your own spot so I can leave and come when I want. So
That's really cool too that they kind of like that they left, because a lot of people, man, they just don't leave, and they're like, you know, squatting in your house, and you can never get them to leave, especially in a liberal place like California during this time. Like they're not doing evictions, you know, like that's
yeah.
pretty nice that they kind of like understood and got their own spot, because
Well,
they def
they didn't get their own spot, bro. They back on the road
oh
because she's been on the road, you know. She's there. She's a traveler. She's a 5 life path, bro. You know, so she's always
okay.
traveling and shit. And it's crazy, bro, because she had her old name was you know Cheto. She feels like the person she is now. So it's a new soul that's only been in that body for the last 6 7 years. And it's funny when she says that because she still acts like a kid. She acts a lot. She's pretty childish for the most part, but her old self, the one that her government name that she considers that her old life is an 8 life path, which makes sense that she got her son's life insurance money. She got her dad when her dad passed away. He got money from the will, you know, shit from the will.
Hmm.
And her dad is also died on 9/9/2009. And
Oh wow.
yeah, weird. And so she's had money like that, but she's always just like on the run. She's always on the go, you know. She's all about community and building with community, and she's all about the
Mm.
village life and shit like that. So she's got her money, and she was just like, you know, and I think she also started seeing how I was getting annoyed too, bro, because it was just I started doing shit that would, you know, like I felt like I couldn't even cook in my own kitchen, bro. So I started just cooking for
I
myself
hear
again.
you.
I started doing
I
shit for
hear you,
myself
dog.
without asking, like, here, you guys want some? And I could tell she was getting kind of annoyed. You know, her kids started like
Mm.
scratching my dinner tables and shit. But I was getting hot. I was getting hot. And I was like, and I would get hot because she wouldn't handle. You know, like she just wouldn't handle at all. So I'm just like, yo, like, what are my limits? Can I tell them shit? Like, I don't want to step the boundaries. Like, what the fuck going on?
Right.
So she was able to feel that energy, and she was kind of just like, I'm gonna leave Chris, you know, I'm going back to Oregon. But she went back up to Oregon to a fucking mess. So she's on her way back to Illinois right
Mm.
now.
Oh my God. Some people they like that, man. Just have to figure it out for themselves. That's crazy though. That's wild. That's a wild story. Appreciate
I
you sharing
told
that with me.
I talked about it on the pod, but I didn't say this is the first time I say, like, you know, I saw a demonic possession and shit like that. But fuck, you know, my listeners can have that. Cause that shit did spook me, bro. But when I saw that card, it was like, yeah, I need to start tapping in maybe, or just getting more how would you even say it? Like, not tap would you say tapped in? Just get more tapped in?
Being in the flow.
In the flow.
Yeah, being in the flow with energy. And I would say within the past, like I've always looked at like Buddhist teachings or Taoist things, and you know, you see them and you're like, it sort of resonates, but I really got in this past month. I started meditating more. I started getting into like Buddhist teachings and just, you know, letting go of this illusion of control that you really have over your life, because you really don't have any control over anything. So, you know, most of the time we're thinking about the future or like reminiscing about the past, and then we're missing this moment that we're living in, this present moment, which is a magical moment. We're having this fucking great conversation and all this stuff, and all these things are going on around you don't even know about. And that's really, really kind of what opened up my eyes about, like, you know, being in the flow, not having this control. Like, you know, I let a lot of things go with like control. Like when with the kids, like I have a couple kids, and sometimes they'll be like, Dad, you always upset, or like, or you're mad. And it's like, I'm not trying to be that way, but sometimes like you can come off that way. Is like when they do something or they're not acting right, and you have to yell, or you have to correct them. And now I just kind of let it kind of flow, and just kind of give up this control that I thought that I had. And it's been amazing. Like the other day, my son came downstairs. He was like, "Can you teach me to play chess?" And like, okay, awesome, yeah, for sure. Something like that a couple months ago would have been like unheard of. Um, it's just like letting go of everything, letting go of hope. I think hope really fucks you up sometimes.
Hope.
Like
Damn.
hope, yeah, like you're hoping for this and hoping for that, but like hope just slaps you around. Like
Yeah.
hope just fucks you up. Being hopeless, being like living in hopelessness, and just like letting things be, whether they're good or bad or like whatever. Like good and bad is one could not
Social
exist without
construct.
the other. Yeah, it's like it's perception. What's good to you is bad to somebody else. So like, what is this good and bad, or like all these things? Like just let it be, man.
Let it be.
Let it be. That's kind of why I tapped out of the political realm, and like I started like trying not to listen to music with words. I know it's hard, man.
Hard, bro.
But yeah,
That's
I
the
like,
only thing, bro.
like,
I cannot. I'll be lying to myself if I said I have to. I'm gonna stop listening to music, even though I know it's corrupt and I see all the shit in it. And I pick up on everything, but it's just like, yo, Drake too. Like, come on, bro. Like Drake, like.
yeah, nah. I mean, I try to, like. Don't get me wrong. I listen to music all day. Like I have to listen to music, but balance that shit out. Like put some classical music on. Like listen to an hour of classical music, or something without words in it, where it's not like blasting your subconscious with all these things, because you think like, oh, I'm just gonna take care of it, like I got it, no worries. But then it's really like, it really hits your subconscious, man. Like you don't even know about that shit. Like it really does. I mean, I've done it. I've went like 8 weeks without listening to words of music, or music without words, and I could definitely feel the difference. I could listen to classical music. I was just way more in a centered place than if I had been listening to like my regular my playlist.
What frequency? Like what? 435 or 432?
I listen to a lot of different ones. I listen to 432 or 528 or 963.
Oh, so
Um,
okay. So there's different ones that you can also tap into.
yeah, I use YouTube Music, and they have a lot of playlists that you can have access to. Even like meditation music. If you like go to sleep and you want to listen to something, there's a lot of things that'll like, I don't know. You have to be careful with a lot of that stuff too, because it's like energy vampires too, and especially a lot of those videos on YouTube are like a lot of bullshit. But if you can find some good ones that are like good meditation music or binaural beats at certain frequencies, will help you tap into like different states. Could be good for dreams. Just different things. You can play around with it, man. Be a scientist. Life is a fucking experiment.
That's a fact. We live in a fucking laboratory, if anything.
Really, man. I always get together with my homegirl, and we talk about like biohacking and different things. Like I introduced her to kava. She introduced me to like this thing that it's called pure black. It's like shallagite or something like that. I just took it like not too long ago before I got on the call. It's supposed to help with like mental clarity and all this
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
man. Like,
that's like that black gooey shit, huh?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
resin, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever taken it?
I haven't. I was gonna ask you right now because you brought up dreams. Like, I'm trying to remember my dreams more, bro. I know I smoke a lot of weed, so I know that's why I don't remember them. But what can I do?
Yeah.
Like, do I just slow down on the weed, or what can I do to enhance them, or
Um. Yeah. There was a dream. There was a guy. I don't know what happened to him. He was doing a dream group. It was called the Iron Nine, and I got his like dream packet and stuff. And that was like, one of the things is to like not smoke as much weed.
right?
And but it's also to write out your intentions too, like to write it out before you go to sleep. Like, I'm gonna dream tonight, and it's gonna be and it's going to be very easy. It's going to be vivid. I'll remember them clearly. That definitely helps. Keeping a dream journal. There's other ways, other tactics that you can use to induce dreams. But yeah, my dream game is pretty weak. uh, I mean, I do dream. It depends. Like, if I'm around people that are really good dreamers, like that tends to rub off on me. Um, so if I'm like, if you hang around somebody that has like very vivid dreams, like, and then you go home. Did you have dreams last night, actually?
Bro, if I did, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Uh, Usually on a 22 day, people's dreams will be more wild, more vivid, and I definitely had some crazy
Ooh.
dreams last night. And I
Actually,
don't
bro,
dream.
yes, I did actually. Wow, bro. Yeah, I did. Because I woke up today actually thinking about hitting up a girl I used to talk to. I don't remember the dream it was, but I did wake up today. Like, I was at work and I was going to ask one of my coworkers, because she don't work with us no more. I was going to ask, like, hey, have you heard of, have you heard what so-and-so? Like, what's up with her? But I never asked, but that's crazy. That's probably why I had the thought.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, usually a 22 day, people will dream a lot more, like more intense dreams, crazy dreams. But yeah, you can take blue lotus, mugwort. Um, you can hit up my homeboy on his name is Ty. Like a lot of
Oh,
like
black tie?
spiritual Twitter. Yeah, Black Tie. You know what you're talking about?
Yeah, I know
He's
what you're talking
he's a
about.
cool guy. Like I met him. He lives in Brooklyn. He works at a float center, like sensory deprivation.
Fire.
And so I've been over there like a bunch of times, like done a bunch of floats and stuff. It's really cool. But he has a site, the Nymph Garden, and I've gotten some extracts and stuff from them. It's really good. He's like a cool guy. Like it's just him and his girlfriend doing it. So like, it's sourced from like the best places.
Fire.
With well intended, people. Like I trust this guy. Like he's a
Yeah.
rooster too. So um, yeah, he's a good guy. But yeah, you can do that. You can do mugwort, blue lotus, writing down your intentions, um, how you want to dream, and there's some other things that you could do as well.
I'm trying to do like work in my dream world. You feel me? Like,
Nah, that a lot of people they get scared. Like I have a friend that she's a really good dreamer, but like a lot of those dreams are like really bad. Like it could be it could be a double-edged sword. Like you could be going in there and doing like what you think you want to do, but then like the
damn.
dream can take over. Like I think I've been in a couple dreams where you know it's so vivid that the people in the dream, they kind of know that, hey, like this guy knows that he's dreaming, or like he's aware,
Yeah.
because you really don't know that you're aware that you're dreaming when you're in the dream, and then they kind of start attacking you for it, like he knows, you know what I mean? And it can get intense.
Man. You actually have a group yourself, right? The Psychonauts?
Oh yeah, yeah, yep. It's a mushroom group. I wrote a how-to guide on tripping on shrooms. Like, so if somebody doesn't know, what to do, it's basically a step-by-step guide, like to have a good trip, from like picking a setting to the right music. If you need somebody there with you, like who to pick
Mm.
to to sit with you or whatever. So I haven't really been putting a lot of time and effort into it. Like I had this, I was selling it, and then I did a trip like in June, and something just told me, like the mushroom spoke to me. It was like, don't charge for this, like just give it away or whatever.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at with it right now. Like if you need it, it's there, but I really don't put a lot of um,
Was it
work into it.
what's the most how what's the most amount of shrooms you've taken?
Like 4 grams.
Yeah, I did an eighth. The most I did was an eighth.
Yeah, like my homeboy, that guy Ty, right? Like I was writing this trip guide, and I was like, man, I haven't done mushrooms in a long time, and I feel like I can't really fully write this thing unless like I've done it. You know what I mean? Like I can't, like how can I just put my name on this if I haven't like done it in such a long time? And in my 20s, I tripped a lot. I did a lot of LSD, but not too much shrooms. And so he told me, this is my kids was in They were in Europe. So I had the house to myself. And he was like, I'm going to give these to you. But the thing is, you have to do them all at once. Like you can't dose it out. I'm like, all right, bet. So I lemon teched them, and that shit was a crazy experience. Like how you said, like all those dots connected, and like I like went down to my like very first molecule of my being, and like basically rebuilt myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a wild experience.
Yeah, I was in nature too when I did mine. I was in Big Bear, so I was like, we were high up, like literally like with the trees and everything. That shit was amazing.
Yeah, I haven't really done it in nature because I live in Queens and I really can't be like walking
You
around
went to
outside.
you went to
with
Jamaica Street and had a trip.
Yeah, man. Everybody, I just want to like. Usually, I just want to get on my phone and like trip out and stuff. And people are like, get off your phone, like go out in nature. Like, I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. So this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm Aquarius. I'm all about technology. So that's what I like.
I even do that too, bro. I have a couple videos too on some of my trips where I'm just recording what I'm saying because I'm just like, yo, I need to get these bars off and people need to hear this shit. Like, I just need to post this shit. I don't care if I sound crazy. I know I'm not, but this shit makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. But like I got like an ounce, not like maybe a few months ago, and I didn't do anything out of it. I just sold it off. Like, I don't know, I just like I didn't need them anymore. Like I felt like I was using them kind of as a crutch a little bit, and like if I was being stuck or
Yep.
I needed a new insight or whatever, like I would just take them, and it wasn't beneficial. It was just
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to
You
explain
start to rely on
sometimes.
them a
Like,
little bit, huh?
yeah, you start to rely on them a little bit. Like, oh, I'll take these to get some new insights, and kind of like what I said before. Like, there's nothing outside of yourself that's gonna help you like you will. So like, you can take much, but it's all an experience, all a journey. I couldn't have got to where I got without them. Maybe I could have. Maybe it'd take longer, but I feel like you transcend them. You get to a certain point and it's like, yeah, it's cool. And I'm not saying that I would never do them again, but right now, like, I just felt that I didn't need that anymore. So,
100%, bro.
yeah.
100%. I'm gonna start wrapping this up because we going in already. But before we get out of here, I actually want to get your thoughts. Like, what do you predict, or what do you think is gonna happen in the next 3 months? Plasma apocalypse.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet for the plasma
what about the
apocalypse.
Project Bluebeam?
That's a possibility. Because I don't know what they're gonna do with this election, and if all else fails, send in the aliens. That's always like plan Z is like send in the aliens and see what happens.
But I feel like the only reason though they will quote unquote send in the aliens, bro, is if the plasma shit does happen, because they're gonna have to explain all this shit that's in the skies, right?
Yeah, but like what would be real, and then what would be blue beam? Like,
Okay,
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
I think that would just be like the final psyop to. I mean, because like when Nick was talking about that plasma thing, it's basically like a rapture, and so people, all those religious people are just gonna fucking like jump on it and just be like, Jesus is here. Let's just get sucked up by this thing. You know what I mean? So everybody's. I couldn't even begin to like think that what was going to happen, because look at what society has devolved into over COVID, over a nothing, because the media has told them to. Like, I live with my ex-wife, and these people are like they bought into it, like, and I can't like not feel bad, but like, I don't know, man. I really thought like Americans would have stood up more, like we just didn't at all. And I just feel like this is just like not even the real deal. It's just a stress test. It's just to be like, what could we get away with? in the future, and they can get away with a lot apparently without us even like blinking an eye. Like, oh, stay in the house, we'll ruin the economy, put on a mask. Everybody's just like, yeah, all right, cool.
Bro, as long
So
as people can be outside and still turn up, they'll do that shit with the mask. They don't give a fuck. Like it's
I,
bro, you just get to a point to like, because when COVID first
I
started,
mean, I
bro.
get it. I get it, man. You gotta play the game at hand. I get it. Like, if you want to do certain things, you gotta play the game. I get it. But as far as like the overall society, like, I just figured like we were more like stand up and like fight for our rights. But I don't see it.
You don't think it'll happen at all? You think like,
Nah, it might happen. I mean, everybody gets pushed to a certain point. Like, you figure like when the American Revolution happened, only 3% of the people were took part in the revolution. So we only need a small percentage of people to stand up and do something. But got to get pushed to that point. I mean, I kind of thought like you can see other countries around the world, like they look up to us, like Taiwan, Australia, all these, like Europe, all those yellow vest protests, like they were out in the street fighting, and they look up to us, and like I feel
they
like we
relying
kind of
on
like
us.
dishonored them in a way, like we're not fighting for our own rights, and it's a little shocking.
They relying on us for sure, and
For sure, because
we're-
when America falls, like the rest of the rest of the world will
yes,
fall for sure.
100%, bro. It just who
So
knows
I don't know
where it
what's
goes.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen with this the Supreme Court pick, because they only have like 40 some days until the election, and no Supreme Court justice has been confirmed in that short amount of time. Like the average is like 55 days.
And do you
So
think them announcing RBG's death was on purpose around this time just to just have everything
oh
up in the
yeah,
air? Yeah, for
for
sure,
sure.
huh?
Because I feel like that lady's been dead for
Me
a
too,
while.
bro.
Like,
Me too. Cuban told us.
yeah, Cuban told us like. I mean, whether she was or wasn't, like maybe they were keeping her alive, like on like some amphetamine or something. I don't know, but like she was not with it for like a long time, and I think they finally got to a point where like, well, it's a short enough amount of time, like he really can't do nothing. But I don't really think people account for like Trump's brashness or like his ballsiness. Like he's just gonna do whatever. Like, so it's interesting. I don't know what's gonna happen, man. I'm kind of excited to find out what does happen, but
Well, did
I'm
y'all?
excited in a more detached way.
100%. Did you also hear about how like the people, some people have put dates on it already to like December 21st. I'm not like
Yeah, you can like I don't remember how long you've been with the Q
Oh
like
yeah, bro.
with the
Yeah.
Q thing, but there has been so many people that have latched onto those things like I the Spy, all these like LARP accounts
Bro, I'm still
that
waiting for the blackout.
right? And everybody wants to like put dates on something, so that's just like a red flag right there. Like how
Yeah.
many times in the past in your lifetime has somebody put a date on something and that date just comes and goes?
Yeah.
And
100%.
I've always seen like GG members, they talk about certain dates like being special. I'm just like, well, what do you mean? It's like September 10th. Like, what is this day? Like, I don't know what the fuck is so special about this. So there's like some things that that I'm not even privy to, you know, like.
Well,
I don't know.
so allegedly, in December 21st, allegedly, that's when the planets, I guess, they're at the lowest point, ever, since a long time or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, like, they're saying that the skies are gonna look crazy and it's gonna look like, shit's close to us because the planets are gonna be orbiting low, allegedly. I heard that from two people already. So I'm and then when Nick talks about his threads, that's why I start connecting it all. I'm like, oh shit, something probably might happen in December. Who knows?
I mean, have you seen those pictures that he's been posting, like the two suns, the sun over
Yes.
Egypt the other day? It looks like
The Saturn,
looks like the
Midhorn.
Taurus. Yeah, look, the horns with it looks crazy, man. Like listen, I know that there's a lot of things going on in the world, like fires and things like that, so it distorts.
Yes.
But I definitely feel like the more people are waking up, that the veil is lifting, because like we live in a neuro-linguistically programmed hallucination. So
Shout out to
it's
Nick.
yeah, right, exactly. When I read that shit, I'm like, reality is a neuro-linguistically programmed hallucination. I'm just like, yeah, yes, it
That
is.
book
It makes
fucked me up
perfect
too.
sense. Yeah, man, I wrote that shit on my my vision board.
Yeah, I seen you posted that actually. Oh man, so many timelines we can go down, huh?
Yeah, man, it's really just about really about timelines. It is, because I
Hold
don't know
on.
if you follow. Like, well, go ahead.
What's your thoughts on Trump being the time traveler, Q and the Baron Davis shit and
I mean that's way too coincidental.
Bro, that's what I'm
I
saying,
mean,
bro. Like, too much coincidences.
definitely. Like, I mean, if you okay, he's really thwarted all the things that they threw at him. Now, don't get me wrong, Trump's a very smart guy, and he goes. I mean, all these things go back to like when he was younger, and his ascension into this position that he's in now. Like, he really couldn't have done anything differently, and he did everything perfectly to be in the position that he is in now. And just think about all the things that they tried to do, right? These people are like literally like demons with their head spinning and like, just going crazy, and they've got the full uh media, the full power of the media behind them, backing them, and they still like can't touch this guy. So like, is he not a time traveler? Like, I just don't see how he's not, because he
Definitely,
basically knows the playbook.
definitely looking glass technology or something.
Something, man.
And then it's
Something.
like it's no coincidence, bro, that it is a Law and Order year, and he's a 4 LP, and it just doesn't make sense, bro. There's too many coincidences. And then like Trump being, Q being the 17th letter, and what's the 17?
Right.
What's the 17 in tarot? The
The
star,
star
yeah.
card.
So like
Yeah.
enlightenment and shit like that. I'm like, yo, like, come on, man. One more proof
Yeah.
do people want, bro? Sometimes it's like writing. It's always in your face, obviously, but it's like, one more proof do y'all fucking want? You just can't connect it because you don't have the information and knowledge.
Or they don't even have the open mindedness to look at it, to be like, people can't even have like an abstract conversation about something without getting their feelings involved. Like, we could talk about anything, literally any conversation. I don't have my feelings aren't attached to that thought, but we could talk about it abstractly.
Mm-hmm.
People can't even talk about something um, like that, because it's just like, I won't feed into it or whatever. But could it be a possibility? For sure.
So many timelines, bro. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows, man? Who
So
knows?
just what do you suggest? Just start prepping spiritually within.
Always, man. Always like what they say, like uh pray for the, or no, like prepare for the worst but hope for the best. But that goes to that hope again, like don't hope for shit. Um Man, like, you are where you are. Like, there's nothing that you can do. Like, you know, uh hopefully, prepare. Um I don't know what you could do. Meditate more,
Yeah.
get more centered, like get out in nature, like
Mm-hmm.
enjoy this shit, like call out of work, go for a hike. I don't know.
Yeah, bro. I be feeling guilty
Keep
calling
the
off of work. I'm like,
people that
fuck
are
this
around you,
shit.
like that, tell them that you love them, and hold the people that are close to you closer.
How do you, or what do you try to instill in your kids? Now knowing what you know.
I try to guide them in a way that is not infringing upon their like free will, because I feel like everybody has a path,
Mm-hmm.
and um it's not like, I always kind of felt like, being an eighth life path, people come into my life, it was a purpose why they came into my life. So like, I had to find out that purpose and teach them that lesson. And now I'm kind of like taking a more hands-off approach to that. Like, if somebody wants to find out about something, like, okay, cool, like we can talk about it. But as far as like me teaching somebody a lesson or whatever, but my kids definitely know about numerology. They know about their like life paths and all that stuff. They already
Fire.
know. Like, I mean, they're Cancer. Like, they're already like little witches. So like, they're already inclined for this stuff. And like, one day my son, he got the calculator out. He's like, Daddy, add up my number. How do I add up my numbers again? It was like one of the proudest moments. It was like, oh
Fire.
my God, a tear came down. He's only 6. He's 7 now, but he was 6 at the time.
That's
So
dope.
yeah, now they know about it, and like, sometimes he'll come down and like hang out with me while I'm doing my readings. He'll be like, "How many readings do you have?" But I don't push anything on them. We talk about crystals and we talk about other things like that, but it's very like,
Have you?
Like I write down a lot. I write down a lot of my notes. Like I write down a lot of stuff. So once I get older and if they want, they can have it. And
Bro,
all
you're gonna
this
be
stuff
you're
is
gonna
for
be
the.
Gary to them.
Nah,
He
for
said,
sure.
"Nah, nah, you're gonna be Joshua."
Gary's on
No,
another
yeah,
level,
he
man.
is, bro.
Like
He is.
he really is,
He
man.
really
Like
is.
I'm very thankful for Gary.
Bro, I don't even know
And
the guy like that, and I'm thankful.
yeah, man, because without Gary, there'd be no like us. There'd be no other like GG members. He really could have just kept it to himself and just made a bunch of money and that'd have been it. But I'm forever grateful for Gary.
Well, there you guys have it. Thank you so much, bro, for doing this podcast. It means a lot to me.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
It was like I said earlier in the beginning. This was more so for me. It wasn't really for my listeners. Like I wanted to do this myself. I don't even care if I don't put this out. You know, I'll listen to this shit myself. But yeah, man, shout out to you for coming through on CHRISPIRACY and just just giving me the knowledge that you do have and your insight. I appreciate that shit.
Oh man, thank you. I really enjoyed it, and it was awesome, man. I really vibe with this conversation. It was nice. It flowed easily.
That's the point. So I just always tell people like just come on the show, like, and people usually always are like leave or we end with like, oh shit, like you didn't have no notes, bro, and I'm like, nah. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I'm like, bro, I'm a fan of you guys. Like I'm a fan. If I'm not a fan or supporter, I'm not gonna ask you to come on my pod. And you kind of beat me to it when you were like, I love to be a part. I was like, oh shit, say less, dude. Like let's run that shit. I was like, say less.
Hell yeah. Nah, I feel it, man. I felt it. So.
Have you seen
Yeah,
Onward?
you don't really. Onward?
Onward.
What's that?
You should watch that with you. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Disney movies, but it's a dope magic movie for for kids and shit.
Oh yeah, no, I think my kids have seen it. You should watch Spiderwick Chronicles if you really want to get into some crazy shit. Like that's a kid's Spiderwick Chronicles. Like I just stumbled upon this movie with my kids, and there's like fairies, and they have to put salt around the house so like the goblins and shit don't come in, and it's
shit.
They're trying to protect a secret book that has all the knowledge in it. It's a dope ass movie.
Definitely gonna check that out.
That and Jupiter Ascending is also like a very esoteric occult movie. Like it's a crazy movie, that one, Jupiter Ascending.
Well, there you guys have it. Metal Rooster 8. 2 roosters, man, on this podcast today.
Nice.
All right, man. If you can stay on real quick, so I can, I want to tell you more about my situation.
Yeah,
Break it down
no
a little
doubt,
bit.
for sure.
But shout out to all you guys listening, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. See y'all next week. CHRISPIRACY.
From the very beginnings of unrecorded time, men have reached for substances in the world around them that would alter, extend, and materially change their perception of reality.